Frank? Hey, Frank, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you fine.
Okay, good. Yeah, just want to make sure. Sometimes we've had the meeting on the Teams and sent that out, and I've had early on applicants go to the Teams and they'd be opening up a Teams meeting, and then I'd see something come on, and then I would, go on real quickly and let them know. So I didn't remember, telling you, but I mean, I know it was on there. I just wanted to make sure. So
Yeah, yeah.
mm,
Okay.
good. Yeah.
Are you
So
able to see okay?
yep, I can see you're fine. Everything's fine. So that'd be perfect. And then sometimes we usually do get, or at least I do get on. Our staff does a little early in case people want to get on and they know there's a meeting, or if they have any questions that way. That works pretty good. And then John
Okay.
would just usually get on just a little prior just to do that. So you can do
Yeah.
that. Okay,
Okay.
I'm just gonna put it on mute right now.
Okay. I will too.
Hey, John, just checking to make sure you can hear us.
Yes, I can, Carrie.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay.
Mute and stay quiet until asked to speak, thanks.
Okay. Yeah, no, that I couldn't get my audio on fast enough. Jeez.
Thank you.
It's now 6 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and get started. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's public hearing. My name is Frank Cassidy. I'm the acting zoning examiner for the city of Tucson. We have one case scheduled for public hearing tonight. It's case TPENT 0924-00019, Technicians for Sustainability Parking Structure, 932 South Santa Rita Avenue. As zoning examiner, I conduct rezoning hearings on behalf of the mayor and council and make findings of fact, which I put into a written report along with my recommendation, which I send to the mayor and council for their consideration and for their final decision. My report will be based on the information submitted to me, which includes the rezoning application, the staff report, all written approvals and protests, all correspondence, and testimony given at tonight's public hearing. I will also include in the record all documents submitted to me up to the close of the public hearing. Tonight's proceedings are being recorded. If you would like to testify, when I call on you to testify, please speak clearly and begin your testimony by stating your name and your address. The process after tonight's hearing goes like this. I will complete a preliminary report within 5 working days after the public hearing is closed. I will then prepare a final report, which will be issued 2 weeks after the public hearing is closed. If you'd like to receive a copy of the preliminary report and are not listed as a party on the case, you may send an email to tucsonrezoning@tucsonaz.gov or call the City of Tucson Planning and Development Services Department. A copy of the final report will also be available from the Planning and Development Services Department. I will send the final report to the mayor and council. At the scheduled public hearing on the case, the mayor and council will then vote on the matter based on my recommendation along with other factors. We'll begin tonight's hearing by asking Samuel Paz from Planning and Development Services to give a brief presentation of the case. I will then ask the applicant if he or she wishes to make a statement or give testimony. I will then open it up to everyone else in the audience who would like to be heard. Following that, if the applicant would like to address any points that have been raised, I will offer the applicant the opportunity to do so. So with all of that out of the way, Mr. Paz, would you like to begin by presenting a brief staff report?
Sure, Mr. Cassidy. This is a request by Lazarus and Sylvan on behalf of the property owners, Technicians for Sustainability, to rezone a 0.21 acre property from R2 residential to I1 industrial for the purpose of a commercial vehicle parking and storage structure. The subject parcel will add a new development area to be included with an existing industrial parcel to the north. The single-story 5,600 square foot parking structure will be used to park commercial trucks and storage. The preliminary development plan retains the existing building site circulation of the greater project site, while the additional rezoning area adds parking, setbacks, and landscape border. The site is located at the southwest corner of 19th Street and Santa Rita Avenue intersection. The applicant team held an in-person neighborhood meeting at 6 p.m. on September 16th, 2024. The proposed rezoning of the subject site from R2 to R1 is appropriate for this location, is compatible with the existing surrounding land uses, and complies with Plan Tucson and the Greater South Park Area Plan. As of today, there are 2 approvals and 1 protest recorded. Staff supports this rezoning request. Thank you, Mr. Cassidy.
Thank you, Mr. Paz. Would the applicant like to give a presentation?
Yes, good evening, Mr. Cassidy. I am going to share my screen. Oh, except I don't have permission. So while John's working.
Yep, I'm working on it. Sorry about that.
Okay.
We haven't had one for a while.
While John's working on that, I'll go ahead and introduce the team that's here today, which is everybody else on the screen that is not staff. So the owners of Technicians for Sustainability are Kevin and Nicole Koch. And then Bill Mackey is our architect who's been working on the project. Perfect timing.
And it's ready now, so sorry.
No worries. Let me get it to run. Okey-dokey. You see it okay?
Yes.
I am going to run through this presentation. It appears we do not have any neighbors, which I had actually expected that we wouldn't, but I want to run through this relatively quickly. If I go too quickly and there's something that you have follow-up questions on, obviously we can go back to the slide and answer those questions. The first thing I want to give you a little brief, if you're not familiar with Technicians for Sustainability. It's a Tucson-based and employee-owned cooperative. It was established in 2003, specializes in renewable energy and sustainable technologies. It's rooftop solar and battery storage in both residential, commercial, and institutional settings. TFS has grown its business as the demand for renewable energy and solar has increased in the region. As such, parking and storage has become difficult to manage on site. And TFS wanted to continue to be a good neighbor, and I'll explain how that works in a minute. This gives us an opportunity to park some trucks inside and do some storage so that our employees can come on site during the day to park instead of on the public streets around, which is helpful to the neighborhood. TFS also recently purchased this adjacent 0.21 acre parcel, in large part because that residential was a known nuisance in the neighborhood. There was some illicit and icky, that's a technical legal term, stuff happening in that house. And so Nicole and Kevin worked with a couple people in the neighborhood to purchase the property directly adjacent that we're going to be talking about tonight and bring it within the project. Again, both helping with that situation and hopefully making the situation better as well, adjacent to the project. So this is the project area. It is an existing, as Mr. Paz indicated, on 19th and Santa Rita. It is zoned I-1. You can see the rezoning area is the acreage that we're requesting this evening to be rezoned, which would give a total of 1 acre, a little over 1 acre of property. This just allows you to see it a little bit from an aerial photograph. This is an area that is a mix of industrial and residential uses and has been for years. The zoning, I already told you it's I-1 and adjacent to us is R2. It is, as you can see, kind of a hodgepodge of single family residential vacant. Some of that vacant across Santa Rita is actually owned by one of the industrial companies, even the R2 section. The planning policies in this area, as Mr. Paz indicated, support rezoning to light industrial to match the existing I-1, which is what we're requesting. This is a very busy screen, I know, and it doesn't meet PowerPoint 101 rules, which is keep things simple. But on the right hand, all of this is also in your packet. On the right hand side is that preliminary development plan, and then on the left is what we just wanted to highlight. So the new parking and storage structure is what we're talking about over on that southern end. This is all being incorporated into the existing project. There will be no new access points. We're going to use all of the existing access points and then internally circulate within the project. So really this is to expand to the south, do about a 5,600 square foot building that will allow 9 of the commercial vehicles to be parked and loaded overnight. And then storage area. And what that does do is free up the parking on the site for the employees, as I said before, who can sometimes park on the street. There's a bunch of information on here on setbacks, landscape. We're meeting or exceeding the code requirements. We're extending the sidewalk. I don't feel the need to step through all of those. You can see those on the site plan, but I'm happy to answer any questions or highlight anything if you want me to. We can come back to this slide. We did have our neighborhood meeting, as Mr. Paz indicated. We had 5 attendees, 4 business representatives and 1 residential. They all support the project. A lot of them acknowledged, I think at the meeting, the work that Kevin and Nicole did to deal with the residential issues that were going on next door. There was a lot of discussion about a lot of the businesses that have their employees parking along the street. There was one gentleman there who wanted to know if Kevin and Nicole would take charge and just rezone all of the area to industrial, which is also interesting because the protest letter suggests that they don't want it rezoned to industrial. So as in most places, a mix of conversations and feelings about rezonings. I do want to share with you a map that we did. So sorry, you're gonna clunk around for just a minute. We went ahead and this is a map we just created. The green, as you well know, there are a lot of times one property owner owns a number of different parcels, and appropriately, the city counts that as one approval and one protest, even if it's multiple parcels. What we did just for our own edification was map this. So the green squares are the folks in the neighborhood. This is obviously one gentleman who owns a lot of properties.
Excuse me, Ms. Sylvan, I'm not seeing a map here on our screen. We're still seeing the neighborhood outreach screen.
Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing and reshare. I am sure there's probably a more technologically savvy way to do this. Is it working now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. The green squares are the folks who came to our neighborhood meeting and said they were supportive. So Mr. Beckstead owns a number of properties, so we tried to articulate that so we're not being disingenuous. Ms. Martinez was Mr. McCone was down here. Mr. Martinez is or Ms. Martinez was the woman. She's a residential property owner. She showed up towards the end and was just concerned that we were actually rezoning her property. And she was so relieved that we were not talking about her property. She said, "Oh, I'll support anything that happens over here. That's fine with me." And then the circles are the Mr. Fricks and Mr. Cortez who sent in the forms. Mr. Caffrey is the gentleman who has the protest. And then I will share that we got a letter from the woman who owns this property up here, who has indicated that she's not supportive of any rezoning in the neighborhood to industrial, no matter what it is. So we've worked with the neighbors who are willing to work with us and answered the questions that we could at the neighborhood meeting. I think that's pretty much at this point. The next slide was going to be whether or not there were any questions. We obviously would respectfully request your recommendation to approve. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have now, or I see we have somebody from the neighborhood. So if there's something I can answer after, if there is testimony, I'm happy to.
All right, thank you, Ms. Sylvan. Does anyone else wish to speak during the public hearing? If so, please either use the raise hand feature
yes, I
or
do.
simply mute. Okay, yes, sir. Please state your name and address.
My name is Bruce Caffrey. I live at 915 South Fremont.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead and make a presentation if you wish. I do have your protest form.
All right. So maybe you'll remember our notice that I included some key points. Initially, the reason stated for the rezoning is inaccurate or false. The next one is that the rezoning is inconsistent with Technicians for Sustainability's core values and mission statement that I read on their website. Another issue is that Tucson is currently experiencing a critical housing shortage. Technicians for Sustainability claims that they are committed to protecting and preserving Southern Arizona's natural resources. I'm pretty sure that historic neighborhoods are considered a valuable natural resource. So it doesn't make sense to destroy residential properties to create parking lots, especially when they have an abundance of parking. Over an acre of land is available to the east of their property that's vacant, existing, which could help alleviate their parking issues. But back to the first point, I received a letter where they stated that they're parking their vehicles outside of their compound at night, and that's why they wanted to build this structure. But that's not the case. I haven't seen them ever park their vehicles outside of their compound. If that was the case, then it begs the question, why would they ever have moved here in the first place? And my last area of concern is the traffic safety element, which has been compromised with the presence of Technicians for Sustainability in their activities. As you're aware, we already experience a high volume of commercial and industrial traffic through here. Some of it is inherent to the area and some of it is from outside of the area. Basically, commercial vehicles passing through. But keep in mind that we have a high volume of commercial industrial freight moving through here on a regular basis. These are the maximum federal allowed limit. They're 53-foot trailers. With the tractor trailer, I imagine it's around 100 feet long. 80,000 pounds is the maximum federal weight limit. And we have that going through this area on a regular basis, around the clock, year round. And keep in mind, it's a residential area. So additional vehicular activity and commerce and extra vehicles and pedestrians and employee vehicles only compounds the issues that we're already confronted with here. Those are my main points.
Okay, thank you, sir. We do have your written protest as well, which also includes those points. Is there anyone else who would like to speak at this public hearing? If not, I will turn it back over to Ms. Sylvan, the applicant. in case you want to make a response or make a closing statement.
Thank you, Mr. Cassidy. I think I tried to address everything because we had the protest and appreciate the comments. The large industrial trucks are not technicians for sustainability, the big ones that they're talking about, unless Kevin unmutes and says, Carrie, you're wrong. We have the smaller trucks, and I apologize for any miscommunication. We do park, and Kevin and Nicole can correct me if I'm wrong, we do park on our property within the gates overnight for security purposes. The idea here is this allows us to to park 9 of those trucks inside of a parking garage and load them along with the storage. And then what that does is it frees up some of the parking on the site in the mornings so that some of our employees can come park inside the property instead of on the street. A lot of the folks who were at our neighborhood meeting were appreciative of that. So apologize for any of that miscommunication. The other point that a couple of the people actually from the neighborhood made was that by parking them inside, but visually, it's a little bit of an attractive nuisance. And what we're able to do now is put those in a closed parking building so that it's less of an attractive nuisance for folks to try and come on the property and steal things. So we are, and Kevin and Nicole have been very forward thinking and talking to a lot of the neighbors and trying to make sure that we're doing the right thing for the neighborhood. This isn't meant to be a conversion of a large area. This is a little bit of additional property that we think will improve the neighborhood. So at this point, unless there's something that you feel I haven't addressed, I think we're ready to just respectfully request a recommendation to approve.
All right, very good. I have plenty of information in the record, and I appreciate the testimony tonight. Thank you, Mr. Caffrey, for your comments. At this point, I will go ahead and close the public hearing for the Technicians for Sustainability parking structure case. As mentioned, I don't know if Mr. McCaffrey was on the line when I explained the procedure, but there will be a preliminary report within 5 working days, and then within 2 weeks, I will issue a formal recommendation. So with that, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing, and everybody have a good evening.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.